Episode 10 of 1001 Stories of Finance. From Debt to Discipline. Benard sat on a stool in silence, his mind heavy with uncertainty. He had no money on him and was already deep in financial trouble after spending his last cash on a failed bet, money he had borrowed from his new flatmate Vince, hoping to multiply it. Now that hope had collapsed. Exhaling sharply, as though trying to release the weight pressing on his chest, Benard stood up and left the betting shop. As he crossed the road, a sudden hiss of tires and a loud screech of brakes jolted him back to reality. A car had stopped just inches away. "Can't you see where you're going?" the driver shouted. Benard quickly moved across, shaking. His mind had been elsewhere, overwhelmed by thoughts of death and failure. When he got home, Vince was seated watching TV. "Where have you been? I thought you went out for a short while," Vince asked calmly. Benard hesitated. A bitter thought crossed his mind. If he knew what happened to your money today, he wouldn't be this calm. "Benard, can I get my money back today? I need some cash," Vince added, as if sensing something was wrong. Benard's chest tightened. "Okay, I'll get it for you tomorrow. I'm low on cash right now, and it's too late to go out." Vince nodded and accepted the response. Later that night, Benard lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how he would keep his promise to pay Vince the next day. Eventually, exhaustion pulled him into sleep. The next morning came too quickly. Benard rushed to prepare for work. It was only the middle of the month, and his salary was already gone. Vince entered Benard's room. "Don't forget my money today," he said. "I haven't forgotten. I'm on it," Benard replied, avoiding eye contact. At work, desperation pushed Benard to approach a colleague. "Hey Linda, can I borrow some money? I'll pay you back at month end." Linda hesitated briefly, then agreed and handed him the cash. Relieved, Benard went home after work and immediately paid Vince. Maintaining his integrity in the house felt more important than anything else. He and Vince were new flatmates, and he feared the shame of being seen as unreliable. By the end of the month, salaries were paid at the office. As Benard prepared to go home, Linda stopped him. "Hey Benard, my money, did you forget?" Startled, he quickly paid her. Before he could leave, another colleague approached. "Benard, my money." "Oh, can it wait a bit?" Benard asked quickly. "No, you promised last week," the colleague replied. One by one, more colleagues came forward, each reminding Benard of money he had borrowed and forgotten. Even an office contribution he had delayed came up. Frustrated and overwhelmed, Benard paid everything he owed. On his way home, he spotted a shopping mall and decided to stop by, spending more money. By the time Benard arrived home, his salary had almost completely disappeared. He checked his phone. Only a small fraction remained, barely enough to survive 10 days. This was his pattern: earn, spend, borrow, repay, and repeat. That evening, Vince knocked on his door. "Hey, I'm going to get some drinks. You can join me if you want," he said, assuming Benard still had money since he had just been paid. Benard agreed and they went out together. The next morning, Benard asked Vince for money again. Vince frowned. "Bet, you were just paid." "It's gone," Benard admitted quietly. "I don't even have transport money." Confused but kind, Vince still gave him some cash. At work, Benard borrowed from Linda once more. "Already? I thought we were just paid," she said in disbelief. He used the money to pay back Vince, and once again the circle continued. That night, Benard sat in silence with Vince in the living room, his thoughts heavy as he wondered how he would survive the rest of the month without money. Eventually, Benard finally broke the silence. "How do you always have money left?" "I earn, but it never lasts." Vince leaned back. "It's simple. You need structure. Every salary must be accounted for before you spend it. Write everything down: your income, your expenses, your debts. Never spend blindly." "Although I do more to increase my money, and it's not betting." "I'll tell you about that soon," Vince said. Benard listened quietly. For the first time, the advice felt like a lifeline rather than a lecture. Over the next month, Bernard began tracking everything, every debt, every repayment, every expense. Patterns started to emerge. He realized how often he spent impulsively and how easily small purchases added up. He even discovered he had overpaid some people simply because he had forgotten the original amounts. That realization unsettled him. Determined to change, Benard stopped the impulsive spending. He stopped visiting the betting shop. He began planning his expenses before spending and reduced borrowing to the bare minimum needed for survival. By the end of the second month, the line of colleagues waiting for him was gone. For the first time, no one stopped him to ask for money he owed. By the third month, Bernard sat quietly with his notebook, flipping through pages filled with careful records. There was a sense of order now, a sense of control he had never experienced before. I finally feel in control, he said to Vince. I'm not owing anyone, and I still have money left. He paused. I'm ready to learn more about increasing it now. Vince smiled. Benard looked down at his notebook again, reflecting on how much had changed. Just a few months ago, he had believed his problem was that he didn't earn enough. He had chased quick solutions, hoping luck would fix what discipline had neglected. Now he understood better. I used to think money problems meant I didn't have enough, Benard said slowly. But really, I just didn't have control. Vince nodded. That's where it starts. In that moment, Benard understood something deeper. Financial stability is not built on luck, quick wins, or chance. It's built on discipline, awareness, and consistent decisions. He had not changed his income yet, but he had changed his habits, and that alone had already changed his life. For the first time in a long while, Bernard's future didn't feel like a spinning wheel. It felt like a straight path, and this time he knew how to stay on it. Keep enjoying the episodes of 1001 Stories of Finance at 1001 Stories of Finance.wordpress.com.